What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in. We are talking LuxAlgo today, and my top 3 favorite indicators, plus a bonus literal trading strategy that I've been building off from a swing trading approach, a swing trading strategy that I've been building off of 2 LuxAlgo indicators. Super simple. We're going to cover all that here in today's video. And like always, I'm curious what you think in the comment section down below. If you've ever tried LuxAlgo, all that great stuff. So on my screen is LuxAlgo's price action concepts indicator, but I've customized it substantially. So I don't have everything pulled up. I'm going to slowly scroll through. If you want to look at these, you want to change the settings, or you want to copy the settings to get exactly what I have, you can go ahead and do so. But what we're looking at on our screen is essentially 3 indicators, okay? And then the bonus swing trade strategy, okay, we're going to cover in a second. I'm going to kind of rapid fire these indicators because these are pretty straightforward to utilize. I'll explain them, and they're pretty straightforward. And then the strategy is really cool because we're taking indicators and we're building off of that with our own brains, which is what I think it's all about. When it comes down to indicators, you guys know me, if you've watched videos in the past, I don't like 1,000 indicators on the screen, right? What you're going to have with 1,000 indicators is you're going to have 20 different things telling you to do 20 different things. Like it's rare that they're all going to line up perfectly to give you the optimal holy grail setup. And that just like never happens, right? If it did, let me know where that is and I'll check it out because like that would be sick. But here's LuxAlgo's price action concepts indicators that I like, that are useful to me. First things first, I want to cover is the weak high and the weak low, or the weak high, strong low that are off the screen. But these 2 levels that we can see, if I can zoom us properly, what you will see is that we have a strong low and a weak high. What this is going to tell me is that we essentially, it's the game of probabilities, okay? That's what it is. Is there a higher chance that we're going to bounce or break through this low? Is there a higher chance we're going to break through or reject this high, right? That's what I want to know. And so by seeing this and by using these indicators, and by the way, the strong low is on high volume, the high was on lower volume. So there's reasoning behind this. There's more that goes into the algorithms that build these out without getting into the weeds, right? And there's reasoning, rationale. It's not random, but it makes it easier for me to visualize and see this without having to like do a lot. It saves me time is what it is. It saves me time. I don't have to go back through and say, let's check the volume. Let's check the price action. Let's check all these different things on these dates. And what does that mean? I can get essentially the data proven to me right there. So weak high says, hey, if we test this high, there's a pretty decent chance we can blast through that with some strong price action. We test this low, we're going to need some stronger price action to break down below, maybe some news, some along those lines. Like that's the idea with using these indicators, or that indicator, okay? The next one that I want to pull up, and by the way, the weak high and strong low indicator, if I pull this back up to the price action concepts, it's this right here, show strong and weak high low. It's this guy right here, okay? Next is going to be the fair value gap. These red and green boxes. This is a fair value. What a fair value gap essentially is when we have a big move on a given candlestick, down or up, and the red box is down and the green for up, that happens instead of an overnight gap. So an overnight gap, well, we traditionally know an overnight gap is say we close, we have one day we close here, but the next day we open here. Here's your overnight gap, right? Fair value gap is a bit different, where if we got a big, nice, fat red candle or a fat green candle, okay, that's just consistently continuous, and then we have, price action. Let's say we had a big move up. Let's say this is a big move up, right? And then price action does this, never retests back down through here. Well, we potentially have a fair value gap in here, right? And that would mean that we could potentially see price action eventually come back down, retest, refill that before maybe a reversal back to the upside, and vice versa. And the best way to kind of visualize this, and the best place I think that explains it, is over here on trendspider.com. And they kind of talk about fair value gaps. And that's the general concept here. So trading a fair value gap is, for example, we get a fair value gap that gets created by this massive candlestick to the downside. Here's your gap. No price action is able to retest into this area. And then now we finally test up into that fair value gap. And now we reverse back to the downside. once we retest that gap. So it's a retest, support resistance, general type of indicator that we like to look for. And over here, as of late, what you'll see is that this fair value gap, these recent ones, we've kind of broken through, pulled back a little bit, then bounced. Pushed up, pulled back a little bit, then bounced. We've been holding like that midpoint of that fair value gap. And so far, that's shown some strong price action, okay? You go back to the left, when you see some of these fair value gaps to the downside, what do we see? Well, it's actually funny. If you look over here, we have this fair value gap right here on the S&P 500. And then if we extend this over right here, where do we come up to? We ended up getting up into that fair value gap back here, and then we reversed back to the downside months later. So there's still valid areas to watch going forward, even if, we never test them in the short term after they're created. So it's a cool indicator to watch for support resistance, and it kind of fills in some of the gaps that we also see, because there's movement like that can occur that isn't an overnight clear as day gap up or gap down. The next one is the trend line indicator. So if I go over here, the fair value gap was right down here. It's this selection. I have auto FVG threshold selected as well to kind of blend things a little bit. I have trend lines selected with a 5, okay? Now, trend lines, look at these trend lines, by the way. If you go back in time, this trend line right here, okay, when we broke this downtrend, massive move up, huge. We broke the uptrend, decent move down, okay? Either way, you would have gotten enough of a move down, in my opinion, to where you should not have lost money on that trade. Okay, move down. Even if you didn't sell into this because you wanted more, as we come back, you should be getting stopped out before it goes against you, right? So, still would have worked great. This uptrend broke, big move down. This trend line broke, move down. Again and again and again, right? Look at this. This one breaks, big move down. This one, this downtrend right here, when that broke, big move up. So it's worked great, these downtrend lines. Now, of course, can you identify them yourself? Sure, you could. But what I like to do is this. Look at my chart. That's what I've been doing as of late. Look at my chart. Clean price action, even get rid of all my indicators. Look at it flat for what it is, face value. Add these up. Did I miss something? Is there a level? Is there an area I should be watching that might have more interest? And then I can back my way into that and what I want to do if we get there, if not, based off of that, right? Based off these LuxAlgo indicators. Now, for that swing trading strategy, this is actually pretty cool. I want to go over to Bitcoin because I don't think it matters what you use it on. And I prefer to use it on the 1 year, 1 day charts. You can use weekly charts. You can use hourly charts if you want to, if you find that it works there. I've just been looking at this and back testing this through the 1 year, 1 days, and it's been pretty killer. So check this out. So if I go over to LuxAlgo Premium, one of their additional premium indicators. So I have selected Smart Trail and Trend Tracer. I'm going to use the Trend Tracer first, okay? And what Trend Tracer does, okay, is it draws in these red plus signs and then these green plus signs. So red means, hey, we are in a negative trend, like we're down, like you don't want to go long right now. We are still, bearish. Green essentially means, hey, we're bullish. So when we are underneath a red or we're above a green and we get a cross by a daily candlestick close, okay? So in this case, right here was our cross, daily candle closed. That's the long. We take a long. And if it's a short, for example, if this daily candle right here, it's close. If this closes below this level, then the short, okay? Daily candle close above or below that trend, reversing trend. So a push up above the red or a push below the green, we enter long or short. Now I will then go over to the other indicator on the premium and I'm going to go to Smart Trail. Smart Trail is going to be my stop loss. This trails me to where it's still following trend. The trend structure is still intact. And it's an easy way to put a trailing stop loss. So now, here's where the fun comes in. Because now it's like, okay, great. We have our indicator to give us our entry point. But what about our stop loss? Our stop loss is under this level. Now, what I could do is immediately go and say, okay, 2-to-1 risk reward. What's my 2-to-1 risk reward? And take profit wherever it's 2-to-1. And that's it. But what I could also do is say, okay, maybe I want to take half of it off at a 2-to-1, and I want to take, or I take off, let's say 10% of my position every, X percent, or every X points, every whatever. This is where you can kind of back your way in. But in this case, right, even if you just said, no, I'm going to put my stop loss when it breaks back under that smart trail trend, and that's it, I would be entering here. I would not have gotten stopped out until maybe here, although I would like to wait for a daily candlestick close below the indicator for me to stop out. You didn't technically get it. You might get it right here. Well, actually, technically not. I guess you would. It's down here now. So you may not have gotten it, right? You could still be in. Either way, let's say you got stopped out there. What's that, right? You would have had from entry point to exit there, 20%. At the highs, you would have had 40 plus. So that's why I think it's useful into extensions up to trim something off the table. But you got to create your own strategy here, right? I'm giving you the idea. Got to create your own strategy off this. And it would have worked great, obviously, on the Bitcoin downtrend that we saw, because Bitcoin got annihilated back over, 6+ months ago. You go back in time. As Bitcoin was breaking down underneath some of these levels, what happened is that you could have entered this thing short right here, for example. Would you have gotten stopped out? Nope, because you stayed underneath this red line right here the entire time until right here. You would have had a trade on Bitcoin to the short side. That would have, even if you didn't take any profits into extensions, that would have been 40+% down. Killer. So this has been a great swing trading strategy. What I recommend, though, is if you get a lot of wicks and tests and crossing, you avoid. Wait for at least a week or two of price action above or below that indicator, that trend tracer indicator. Once we get a cross after that and a clean close above or below, there's the entry. It avoids a lot more chop that way. So again, the ideas are there. Let me know in the comment section if you like any of these ideas or if you've tried these ideas. There will be a link in the video description box down below for LuxAlgo. They're giving like a 30-day risk-free period where you can like literally refund anytime, no worries, which is pretty cool. They also integrate with TradingView. So if you've got TradingView already, you're good to go. Go over to the indicators tab. Once you're signed up, you can go over to LuxAlgo and you're going to get access to their premium indicators as well. They got a ton of free ones here as well. So there's a ton of free indicators in LuxAlgo that you can check out as well. But we are using, in this case, the premium indicators in this example. I want to cover those top 3 indicators I like, as well as a literal built for you strategy. Now, of course, not everything is done. You got to kind of build in the little extra pieces of the exit points, the trend, like when do you stop out? What's your rule for entries, exits specifically? But the general guideline is there. So hope this video helps you out. I know it's helped me. This is pretty cool. I'm going to be using this for Bitcoin and crypto specifically because that's a sector where I don't follow it close. I would rather just follow an indicator and trade this indicator and that's it. Swing trade, not to worry. So it makes it super easy on me to follow the crypto markets and trade off of that. And it's working pretty well. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Links down below. Peace out.